Okay, great question. So the subject of progesterone comes up a lot, and I guess it's a good opportunity to kind of go into it a little bit. Basically, the term estrogen dominance comes from a doctor named Dr. John Lee. And short story is that he found out in the 60s and 70s that all his female clients that had menopausal issues and mood swings and hot flashes and all this kind of thing, they showed up on his doorstep and they were doing like synthetic hormone treatment, right? You guys know about that? Like horse urine and that whole weird, crazy nightmare? HRT, yeah, hormone replacement therapy. That's not, by the way, that's not what bioidentical hormones are. That's what, I'll mention that. So he found out that when he would administer topical progesterone cream to his female clients, their hormones would start to normalize and balance out. And that's where he figured out, wow, okay, so there's something going on with the progesterone to estrogen ratio, and the progesterone is being basically pushed over, right? And so through doing the progesterone cream, which is typically a yam-based cream, because yam has what's called dioxygen, which is a precursor for progesterone, right? And so that's a bioidentical hormone or bioidentical progesterone, meaning that it's biologically identical to your body's endogenous progesterone. You guys catch the distinction? It's not the same as like injecting a synthetic hormone or the derivative of an animal like a horse urine for estrogen. So anyways, I think that's amazing. Like that right there, like I have to say that because progesterone cream is powerful. The research, the clinical research on it is pretty strong. And the observational evidence that I've seen recommending it to clients or just seeing it at events or stuff, people come up to me and tell me this, or going online, seeing people's testimonies, it's like, whoa, this is pretty amazing. To the extent that progesterone, the right dosage, has certain effects on your neurological system, especially for a woman. It appears that a woman's brain is different than a man's because of the hormonal differences. Because a woman is dictated by progesterone, her brain functions differently. Like your women, your ability to multitask is unique to you because you have something in your midbrain called a corpus callosum, which is a bridge between the right and left hemispheres of the brain, and your physical corpus callosum is a little bit bigger than men's. So men are more linear. We can't entertain too many things at one time. We can learn, but it's not a natural characteristic, and we tend to get like, can't deal with all this. Like we tend to be like, okay, one thing at a time, right? Women can entertain, you're in flow, like it's, you're like a weather. Like, okay, ding, 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 ding. You're just better at it than we are, right? It seems to be, part of that is because of the hormonal difference, which I find fascinating. And I think that's a gift. That's a gift of the feminine. So if you want to enhance that characteristic neurologically, then progesterone cream is definitely something to investigate. And then on that tip, chasteberry is a great herb source or food source, so that yams as a food source is a great food source for that, right? There's a number of other things. And then the aromatase inhibition subject is huge because when you have the right estrogen blocking compounds in your body, basically what it does is it helps hold progesterone in place. It helps hold testosterone in place. You get that? It's not that it creates more of it. It helps you make use of it, what you already got, instead of it flipping out of control into estrogen, estradiol type of estrogen that is correlated with all forms of secondary sex characteristic cancers, like breast cancer, reproductive cancer, prostate cancer, like we mentioned before. Infertility, libido. By the way, I have to mention this now, is that your libido or your fertility is pretty much the best telltale sign of where your hormones are at. If you don't get a hormone panel test, a blood test to see the ratio, if you want to do a self-diagnosis, this is it. Where's your libido at? Where's your fertility at? A species that is unable to reproduce itself is on the edge of extinction. Once a species cannot reproduce itself, you know that it's on its way out. It's about to be recycled. So it does appear the recycling process in nature has a lot to do with hormones. And so certain types of estrogens seem to be recycling agents. And so if we are in the mindset that ignorance is bliss, the consequences of our ignorance at one point are going to come knocking on our door in the form of, oh, you can no longer reproduce. Oh, you can no longer get it up. Oh, you no longer have a sex drive. Therefore, you no longer have a life drive, right? Like your libido, it's not just about like getting it up. It's not just about sex. Sex is a byproduct of being vital within your body. You guys get that, right? Like Kundalini and Tantra. It's not just about like sex. Sexual function or performance is a secondary characteristic of a vital, healthy human being. And that's what the hormones are all about.